Survival Saturday, win or go home here on Stadium in our first 4 matches. This is match number 4. After this will be the final round, the winners bracket, all of the teams that went 2-0 yesterday. We'll be on Stadium courts for the rest of the day after this one.
Huntington Beach is one of my favorite events. I love the town, the people, and the fans that come out are amazing.
The sand is great. It plays a lot faster, which is probably better for my game. But I also love the off-site stuff, and we've had a lot of good memories here from past tournaments and whatnot.
The weather's always great, so it's just always a fun tournament. It's just a great atmosphere. The people come out. It's a great beach.
For me, it used to be the mecca of beach volleyball, and so it's good to come back and get some of the shallow sand and fly around. So I love Huntington Beach, and I'm happy AVP's here.
Just underneath the palm trees here in Huntington Beach, California. This place is getting jam-packed for an afternoon of Survival Saturday. Time to grab that surfboard and make your way right here to Stadium Court. An iconic venue just north of the Huntington Beach Pier. Cannot wait to get this next matchup started. It has already been a phenomenal morning of volleyball on the AVP. We've got another significant matchup in the contenders bracket. David Lee and Jake Urrutia. Hi everyone, I'm Cameron Irwin alongside none other than Rich Lambord. And I'm not gonna lie, he literally just went sleeveless for this open.
The sun's out, the gun's gotta come out, I guess.
I'm pretty sure I asked actually yesterday, we threw it out on Instagram and I said, caption contest, it was a photo of the two of us. You wanna know the #1 response?
Let's hear it.
Please have Rich take off his sleeves.
All right.
That's all I'm saying, man. You got a lot of fans out there. And of course, no doubt for your wit, your volleyball acumen, and your brain as you look now to the contenders bracket. And we just saw Dahlhauser and Dross pick up a win. They will be moving on in the contenders bracket. That's a 2 seed that is just battling tough right now in the backdraw of this. But we set now for Lee, Urrutia, Bomgren, and Field. It's time for a little TNT. Sending it now to Mark Sherman on the sand.
Here we go. It is time for one more win or go home here on Stadium Court, here on Survival Saturday. Ain't nobody wants to go home. Ain't nobody wants to go home right now, even though you're just a little bit up the road now, Jake. Originally out of Hillsborough, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, now an up-and-comer here on the AVP, now in Hermosa Beach, California. Say it with me, it is Jake Urrutia. Just like it looks, everybody, Urrutia. Not Urrutia, not Inertia, it's Urrutia. Nobody has trouble pronouncing this next guy's name. Oh no, I mean, what a guy, what a career, and he's just, you're so flexible in your career too, you do so much. He's a 3-time Olympian, an Olympic bronze medalist, an Olympic gold medalist. He is the coach of the Bengaluru, I can't remember the mascot, but Bengaluru Torpedoes in India, and he is a professional beach volleyball player. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Mr. David Lee. Oh, this next team, the Dynamite, is back together, everybody. Oh, they're fun. They are a fun team to watch, and this first guy, I've been loving watching him for a long time. Back when he played with his brother Brian. Oh my gosh, they were so much fun to watch, but then they broke apart. Now he's playing with different people, and I love it, ladies and gentlemen. He is an incredible athlete. He needs more followers on Instagram to catch up to his wife, but he's doing pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Mr. Tim Bomgren. I think she's up to like 450,000 now or something like that. It's pretty good. Wow. And And his partner, yes, he's already up. He's ready to go. Let's go, Troy. You're ready. You're up. You're jumping up. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for this meet. It's so much fun. Are they ready? I think they're ready. Are you ready for Troy? Are you ready for Troy? Yeah, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Troy Field.
You can always count on Jeremy Urrutia to play the right tune at the right time. Little TNT, a fan favorite, back together. They were the breakthrough team of the year in 2019 on the AVP, the 8th seed that is, on the left side of your screen. On the right side, you got a 3-time Olympian and a gold medal and bronze medalist in David Lee, playing alongside Jake Urrutia.
That's right. Well pronounced. We're gonna keep that dialed throughout this match, and it should be a great one, Cam.
They start on David Lee, and he's actually been putting on the coaching hat a bit, like Mark mentioned. And a big congratulations to him and Lavi, as they are now expecting their first kiddo.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he makes an impression everywhere he goes. Played quite a few years over in India, and now coaching. You know, they love him over there, rightfully so.
Nice pickup from Jake. Little Bomgren action for you. Just chopping that off the heel of the hand. Tim Bomgren.
You see Jake point to the sky almost apologetically, because that was a great spear dig, great spinny set from Dave Lee, but it was super high, and Jake had to contend with the sun to try and hit that.
I would not want to contend with the sun. That does not sound fun. That sounds very painful.
Losing battle oftentimes.
What's your sun stare number?
Yeah.
Little extended play. Fun, too, to see Troy Field back in a blocking position. Spent the last few seasons in a defensive standpoint.
It'll be interesting to see the sort of battle that goes on between Troy at the net and Dave Lee, who is an absolute blocking savant.
Best blockers in the world in the indoor ranks.
Come on, Tim was the early call, as Dave thought that was going to fall on the end line. Just long, however.
Lee's first Olympic path is back in 2008. He also played in 2012 and 2016. Troy getting in on the action up at the net. A little patrol. We said yesterday it looked like he might be out on the police force, so I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, or the fire department, one of the two, right? He is working for the city in some capacity or another.
Tim Bomgren flying.
Oh, boy.
Little extra, something special from Troy Field. He gives a little double hands up emoji to the ref, like, what? Can't say anything about that one, right?
This is just a thought for you, Cameron. Something I love, we all love about Troy is the showmanship and the entertainment value in watching him play. Sometimes it overtakes making the prudent play for him. It can at times. So it's something I always like to monitor. You know, that's a great choice he made there, great execution. But we got to keep an eye on whether or not he tries to do the flashy a little too frequently.
Well, and that's a fair point, especially considering the fact that he was successful in the first, which means that he just kind of fed that beast a little bit more.
Yeah. That's which wolf are you going to feed?
Yeah.
That's the...
Exactly. Cross body down the line for Troy Field.
A really nice turn, and it confounded Dave Lee. He thought he was kind of all over that. Didn't think he left any sliver of line open, but Troy found one.
Working that middle against David Lee. Hear the call out of the middle for Bomgren and opening up the line. That's one of the beautiful things about attacking out of the middle. Create some different angles.
Yeah, absolutely. It can minimize the severity of those angles, but it gives you more angles in both directions, right?
Good touch there from Troy Field. Tim Bomgren is just sitting on it. Oh, to your point, and it's going to get called. Double contact, Troy Field.
Wow. That's a little bit of a tight call. That was tight.
Troy's asking for the Jumbotron right now. Show it to him, guys. Come on. Let's get this replay. He's still looking. We got you, Troy. Here's a look at it, bud.
Sadly, I don't think that.
I was looking at your hands. I wasn't looking at the spin. I was watching your hands. Boom, boom.
It was clean over. It hits the net and spins.
Yeah, Jake's reminding Troy that he was all over it anyways, I think. Yeah, that was a tight call. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any circumstances where we go to the Jumbotron to overturn a call, regardless of if the evidence is there or
fair.
not.
In your volleyball career, have you ever seen a replay off of a double contact? I love that they just argue like it's ever going to change.
Right. You know, I got the great pleasure, obviously, of working with Jake Gibb for a long time, and a lot of people feel like he was maybe the one and only Jedi who could massage a ref into overturning an already made call, which I don't disagree with. Yeah.
It was an art form from Jake.
Yeah.
And it started from the very first point, too. It was always that first contact that was a little sus. And all of a sudden you knew Jake would just start to get in the ear a little early, get the ref on his side. That's gamesmanship.
Yeah, and a pivotal part of being successful, and he was probably the best of all time at it.
That was one of my favorite athletes to cover during my time on the AVP. Always had a nice word and a funny word in a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, the great Jake Spiker Gibb.
Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment when you can have the longevity that he had and not have a single person with a sort of a bad word to say about you.
Four-time Olympian is who we're talking about, Jake Gibb. Jake Spiker Gibb, to be exact. There's a block from Timmy. One of the most athletic guys on tour, Tim Bomgren, can do it all. Just can't fight the Kong block, poor guy.
Yeah, Dave Lee had a little extra extension on that one, gave Timmy a little sideways glance after he wiped that one to the sand.
I mean, if Tim won this one, you were going to hear about it. There's a look between those two. David Lee. 6-8.
Yeah, Tim and Troy are almost kind of a throwback type of a team. They can both be great defenders, both be great blockers, because Timmy spent a lot of time as a blocker at the net as well. So when they get caught in those situations in transition, it's not uncomfortable for them at all.
Was it 2018 that Tim played alongside Taylor Crabb in Austin?
Yes.
Right? And he played with one of the gnarliest sprained ankles I've ever seen.
That is accurate and a great memory by you. I was just talking to him about that this morning. I mean, you wouldn't have known how bad that was because he never said anything. He just taped it as tight as you could possibly tape it. Made his way to the finals. Unfortunately, they fell to Phil and Nick, but when he unwrapped that thing, it was
as
revolting.
Purple as Barney.
Yeah. My color blindness had me thinking it was blue, but I'll go with purple.
That was one of the grittiest performances I've seen. They made it all the way to the final, right? And took the loss, but Timmy up at the net playing alongside Taylor. Jake with a little bit of cuff, and one of the conversations I've had with Tim as of recent, because that last and final touch just reminded me of it, is he said, you know, if we're getting touches, whether it's from a blocking standpoint or from the down defender standpoint, then we're doing things right. It's just about maybe making a slight variation or a bit more of an earlier step to find that contact in the transition play. But these two are not really fazed by too much in terms of trying to change things or work things in. They got to kind of get their footing back underneath of them.
And it's an excellent mentality to have, right? Because as a defender or a blocker, like you said, you feel like you're very close, but also it weighs on the psyche of the attacker. If all of your stuff is getting touched, even if it's not getting dug, you feel like, oh boy, they were on that. Maybe I've got to try and carve a little more line or carve a little more angle. And that's when you can start to have some mistakes creep in, right? So all of, you know, kind of the progression that I was taught was, you know, effort leads to touches, touches lead to digs, digs lead to points from a defensive standpoint. And certainly Troy and Tim get a lot of touches out there.
Well, you know a little something about defense. There's no doubt about that.
Too much venom on the Cobra that time, Cameron.
I think Cobras just always have too much venom, in my opinion. I avoid snakes at all costs.
Fair.
Not a fan.
Fair. Dave, with his time in India, no doubt good at charming the snakes, so he dodged that one. That's a great swing from Tim. I like the move from Dave Lee. He kind of thought something softer was coming and delayed, but Tim saw it and slapped it quickly for the winner.
This is just the third match played for Tim and Troy. They picked up a first-round win in 3 sets played. There was a loss to Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander yesterday. Sent them here. Finding the antenna. That means that ball is out of bounds, bringing us to the technical timeout, which gives us a great opportunity on this Survival Saturday to take a look around our venue and see exactly what's going on, because there are matches happening just about everywhere, Rich. So here's a look out to your Court 1 and Court 2. We also have Jaden Whitmarsh and Devin Newberry in action, playing against Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes. That is at 15-17 in the second. Betsy Flint and Julia Scholes looking to take the win there after picking up the first set. Lexi Dinneberg and Deanna Kraft in set 1 action with the lead over Tony Rodriguez and Gina Urango. Better have your 3 streaming devices ready for this day. There's no doubt about it. You want to tune into every single one of these matches.
Yeah, get your phone, your laptop, and your smart TV ready for the weekend here in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, and of course the A-team, we've got them coming up next on our stadium court coverage. Get a chance to see, or excuse me, they'll be on Court 1, but get a chance to see the reigning gold medalists, and of course the 3-time medalist in April Ross. Fun to see the moms out there. Also shout out to M Day. We got 3 moms returning to the tour, or excuse me, to the AVP this year. So we get set point out on Court 2. Meanwhile, back out of the technical timeout.
If you're a fan of Neapolitan, a medal of every color would be the greatest version of that, one would think.
I usually get that when I head to Old Spaghetti Factory.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. Dave's close. He's got the bronze and the gold. Just missed out on the silver, I guess.
Short angle to Tim Bomgren. A little slappy to the middle of the court.
Yeah, they've done a good job of kind of taking Dave Lee out of the game, so to speak, not letting him impose his will at the net thus far.
So how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, they move around a lot. The right-hand, left-hand thing can be tough at times for blockers, right? Timmy has such great vision as well. But Dave Lee undeterred, and a lot of times what you'll see from good blockers is even when they seem quiet, what they're doing is kind of slowly calibrating, right? Getting a beat on attackers. So I wouldn't expect that to last for too long. The blocker, the caliber of Dave Lee.
Trying to get a beat there. Stayed up at the net, even though Troy was about 7 feet off. Tough side right now is on the side of Troy and Tim. Wind at their back. Seen some passing troubles on the day from this north side. Set inside, and Tim. Troy goes underneath the net, and it is going to be no good.
It's got to travel outside the antenna and then be brought back.
The argument, what do you think?
It's tough to disagree with Timmy because I believe he's a mechanical engineer. So I'm going to defer to him almost always in matters of angles. But I think he's not right in this instance. I think that went inside the antenna off his arm.
So the rule is is the ball has to go outside the antenna, off that contact. Troy could go underneath the net to retrieve it, but that ball would have to have been outside the antenna, brought back outside the antenna yet again, and then sent back.
Sent back inside the antenna.
There you go.
Yeah. Outside, outside, inside.
Paired it off with an ace.
Yeah, great response from Leon Urrutia.
Nice work. Point for Rich.
That's over. That's over.
Troy Field claiming that that's over, David Lee. Don't know about that.
It's, yeah, not an easy task. I'm not sure if we consider it all the way over if it touches fingertips, but it was certainly very high up there.
If you're enjoying this matchup, well, we've got so much still to come. Manhattan Beach Open comes August 16th through the 18th. And not to mention, you get a chance in June and July to see some of those contender events take place. Follow your favorite AVP pros, all leading up to the league come September. A new and unique obstacle and path for these AVP pros. Got to qualify in, you win a heritage event, and you've booked your ticket.
Yeah, a little extra celebration on kind of the back pedal pass that was phenomenal at the end of the day, and then he goes lefty off the block, Dave Lee.
I am pleading with someone tuning into our coverage to just clip off each one of your diabolical laughs at the end of points, because and just make a montage for me, please.
That would be disturbing, probably, right?
No, I think we should pull it and then give it to DJ Roche to play after those points are played out.
Or we could do a poll. Is this Satan or Rich enjoying some volleyball?
17-14, Bomgren and Field up with a 3-point lead. Tough serve down the line to David Lee.
Oh my God.
That's when you say Yahtzee. Ooh, Troy Field. Letting everyone know. That was from the top floor.
He was talking to her up official there, right? I'm a little baffled as to.
All I know is that I definitely told Troy Field where the microphone was.
Okay.
He knows it's right next to the ref stand.
Okay.
You're welcome, AVP fans.
Yeah. Great shot to the corner from Jake there. I feel like anything that's said feels slightly more menacing when it's accompanied by that mustache.
He has gone from the black hat to the pink hat today. So
Okay.
from one to the next. Platform causing some problems right now. It's hitting the ball just about everywhere. Oh, but how about that? Yeah, you better give some love to your partner on that one.
Rightfully so. Yeah, I think that's a little indication of kind of one of those instances we were talking about a little bit earlier, right? Where Troy gets involved in kind of screaming with the up ref and dialoguing, and then sort of loses focus on that pass a little bit. It can happen.
He just went full indoor mode.
Well, yeah, there was some indecision there whether it was in or out, right? And then he kind of decided one way, and once he decided the other way, it was a little too late. Had to try and makeshift tomahawk it.
Well, and to his credit, which is also pretty tough, is the fact that that ball's going straight into the wind. Kind of tough to tell exactly the depth of that, especially in that right corner.
Yeah, I do
onshore.
give him a tremendous amount of credit because he's passed it, with the exception of that play, obviously. He's passing the ball extremely well. And when you think about spending the entirety of your career indoors as a middle blocker, you don't have years and years of reps at that skill. And it's a very, very difficult skill, of course. And he's doing a tremendous job here in this match.
You're limited on that first contact. The only thing you really see indoors is that first short serve.
Right.
The one you don't want to take. But there's set one. Bomgren and Field off the missed serve of David Lee. A bit of separation here, but a really nice finish for Bomgren and Field to start off the first.
Yeah, smooth performance from TNT. They were good in all aspects of the game. Set number one.
Yeah, something stands out, that 5:22 efficiency for Bomgren and Field through set 1.
Kind of made mention of that, right? That Dave Lee wasn't really able to impose his will. Let's see if that changes here in set 2, if he gets a little bit of a beat on one or the other of TNT.
Let's see if David Lee can start building a wall against Bomgren and Field, because they look for a response in set 2.
How about a little magic? How about a little magic, huh?
Time to put on the sunscreen, grab your sun hat, and come on down to Huntington Beach, because it has turned into a glorious Saturday filled with sunshine and the world's best beach volleyball players. A chance to see the contenders bracket play out here on the men's side. David Lee, Jake Urrutia facing off against Tim Bomgren and Troy Field. A Titanic, Cam.
I like it. I like it. Which of those people is the king of the world?
And the best part is they have no idea. I'm like, oh, there they go. Now they're seeing the Jumbotron. Come on, somebody give us a little embrace. Little embrace. Hey, was there room floating on the board?
Was there room? I think so. I mean, I think we saw the ultimate in selfishness at the end of the Titanic, but it's not for me to decide, I guess.
Love it. Rose did him dirty.
Yeah, she only had to deal with a lifetime of regret.
Set 2 now underway. They stay with the pressure on David Lee. You were impressed with his passing. Where might some extra points come their direction here in the second set?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got to find their legs defensively a little bit, right? Jake's a great defender. Obviously, we know about Dave's blocking prowess, but Timmy and Troy were so good offensively that they were just never able to get anything going defensively. I think they've got to avoid these errors early, because when you find yourself in a hole, it's harder to play defense, right? When you're chasing the whole time.
Yeah, that is not the way you want to play defense. Again, everyone, I'm Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lamborn. We're getting a little extra sun exposure up in our castle position. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Having some fun out here. David Lee off the top of the block. Good vision there. Some numbers that stand out from set 1. Obviously, the efficiency on the side of Bomgren and Field as I look to it now. But it was 269, the team hitting percentage for Lee and Urrutia. 16 and 11 total attempts split between the two of them. And the block, this is the surprising one. Not a single block thus far in this matchup.
Yeah. See a nice little bit of offensive variety from TNT there. Troy going rainbow shot around the right side.
Troy Field does have 3 control blocks. But again, somebody at the net is going to be a difference maker in this matchup. Who will it be, Troy Field or David Lee? Nice little breeze blowing in.
Yeah, like you call this our tower, right? You would be kind of like the beautiful princess in the tower. I'd be more the Quasimodo in the clock tower.
Oh,
kind of.
hardly. Come on, man. You could be the dragon.
Okay, there you go. Ooh, close to one
Just
there,
need
David.
to check, do you have any spikes down your back?
Yeah,
No,
probably.
we're good.
It's called psoriasis.
Rich, sometimes, man. I just never know what's going to come out of your mouth.
Me either.
switching it up now at 3-4.
I do like the offensive rhythm. You know, a couple mistakes early from Jake and Dave, but again, Dave passing the ball well, finding a little bit of rhythm. He plays that tempo set out to the pin. And I mean, again, as a middle hitter, he's used to that kind of quicker set. And when everything's in rhythm, he's tough to stop.
Bomgren looks across the net. It cannot be easy staying at the top of your jump on that approach and almost waiting. You're picking your moments. Tim Bomgren, that's a really nice example there of him kind of delaying at the top of his jump, deciding when to attack the ball and waiting for the block to develop.
Yeah, you point out something excellent there. The best attackers with the best vision, Tim being one of those guys, is somebody who comes in and approaches hard to give himself all options. You can't kind of lope in and expect to be able to hit from a less than aggressive approach posture, right? But Tim does such a good job of giving himself all options so he can wait at the top, like you said.
Some great attackers stand out that have that same ability. I think of Taylor Crabb being one of them. A quick glance out in the lower left of your screen. The A team getting ready that direction. Kleinman Ross versus Simo and Van Winkle. So they're getting ready to go out on our outer court coverage. Again, that's the A team. Alex and April, your reigning gold medalist, facing off against Sappy Simo and Abby Van Winkle, the Bruin duo. Just up the street here from Los Angeles. Locking back in here on Stadium. Rich, you know they were serving sushi in the VIP
I did
yesterday?
not know that.
And they're doing it again today. I'm like wondering, how do we kind of sneak our way that direction? It's almost a little mean too, because we're sitting up here. We have a great shot of AVP 360 and just watching everybody enjoy it.
We're experiencing FOMO while at the event.
What is that about?
How's that possible?
That might be a first. Bomgren looking to serve out of the middle. Shoved back yet again. That's Troy Field. I want to talk about a high level of difficulty. Try that.
Yeah, the 360 cut shot just barely missed. Jake has tremendous touch. I mean, you can tell that Timmy and Troy respect his offensive capabilities. They haven't sent a single serve his way.
You gotta feel like at some point you get a little board sitting out there waiting for that ball to come your direction. Maybe they send one late in this matchup his way just to see if he's still ready to go.
That is a good tactical approach. If you stay on one guy the whole time, slip one Jake's way, see if you can catch him off guard. Especially if Dave's in that nice rhythm, hitting high off the top of the block at Troy Field.
Talk about Urrutia out of New Jersey. Stands at 6'4". Considering 2023 his rookie season. Played indoor growing up. Went off to Rutgers. Nice pickup, Troy Field. How about that set? No way! David Lee, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
A little magic at the hand of David Lee.
Just the soft hands on the overhand dig, layout from Jake, and then the lefty waterfall shot, like you call it, Cam. I love it.
How about that? Troy Field gets that ball up. The set only Tim Bomgren could make. And then who says middle blockers can't play defense?
Yeah, I didn't say that to their face.
Yeah, just behind their back, which is where you typically were.
Correct, correct.
What an awesome rally. 8-all. Ooh, sidewinder from Jake. I don't know the last time I've seen that serve. The standing side spin.
Yeah, that's a throwback to Mark Burek, who we saw coaching out on Stadium Court just last match.
Coaching up Hagen Smith and Logan Weber. Another set from Tim Bomgren.
What is happening out here right now,
That's
Cam?
a spike set. Like, how do you even?
Spike set, and Troy feasts on it with the left hand. Just to make sure that we know everyone out here is ambidextrous.
I thought it was amphibious.
Amphibious, excuse me.
David Lee looking across and over the top as well.
Every confrontation at the net between Troy and Dave includes a little postscript chirping between the two.
Why do you think David Lee likes to attack from the right side, kind of at that extension all the way out, just considering he would probably be pretty comfortable coming out of the middle with some of the angles and the...
Yeah, certainly.
Right? He's got the ability to cut those balls.
Yeah, I think, you know, the tempo kind of allows you, especially if you're sort of newer to the beach. You know, Tim, we talk about his vision and so forth. When the ball's flat, it kind of naturally lends to keeping your periphery in play. You know what I mean? So I think it just makes it easier. He's used to the tempo, keeps his vision a little bit more open.
Well, it's interesting him too playing the right side as a middle because you're so used to having that ball fed in from the opposite direction. There's a good block from David Lee, another control. And Tim might as well just play every contact overhead at this point. Dig every ball overhead, set every ball overhead, and just find another kill just like that.
Yeah, and again, Troy and Tim just very consistent. Just kind of slowly wearing down their opponents because certainly Jake and Dave are playing some great volleyball. But just unable to make any kind of inroads defensively because Troy and Tim are so smooth right now.
Tim Bomgren, Troy Field, 36 and 30 years of age, hanging out here on our stadium court. Coming up, we've got Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, the #1 seed, facing off against Cody Caldwell and Sean Cook. You want to talk about a couple dynamic duos? Well, that matchup could be phenomenal. Claude the Nuss versus Humana Paredes and Wilkerson. That is just insane to me. Those are two of the top 5 teams in the world in terms of a quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah, 1-4 in this tournament, 2-4 in the world. So whatever you're doing at 2 p.m., if it's not sitting here on stadium court, change your plans immediately.
And by the way, that is a live shot. Look at that man rip. Come on now, Surf City. You got Bourne and Schalk, Allen and Lotman. Allen and Lotman, they're team dad coach, or is it coach dad? I'm not sure which it is, but nonetheless, they played 2 3-set battles yesterday and went 2-0 on the day. Their new little partnership. I'm here for it.
Yeah, Billy is one of the great guys of all time. Paul, a former teammate of mine, is an excellent, excellent player. They had a grinder last night in the late evening hours and came out on top. So they're here today battling.
There's a block. Troy Field getting up there and finding the stuffy.
That's a great move, too, because Dave Lee's been going high kind of to the corner over Troy. Troy closing down the line that time and getting the stuff.
Good touch. Even better set. I mean, Troy had his back to the net. You would have had to gone full jump bump to get that.
Yeah, that's one of those ones, though, where we needed slightly more prudence in our decision-making for Troy. That's not a ball we're going to kill a lot. Just keep it in play. Reward yourself for the great touch on the block, the great rundown from your partner, and reset your defense.
I was just hoping for the Marciniak.
The jump bump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaving it up on a platter.
Yeah. That's the wait staff.
What's
Your
he
drinks.
serving?
Yeah.
Besides skills.
Yeah, he's serving up a little rainbow shot over the top of Dave Lee, the tantalizer.
Or maybe that's a sushi up at AVP 360. Troy a second late on that block after the serve. Didn't anticipate the on-2.
Yeah, Jake's been very impressive in this match to me. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of him because he's not getting any serves. We talked about the offensive prowess of TNT. So we haven't seen a lot of him, but every contact he makes seems to be pretty dialed.
He's 8 of 18 with 2 errors through sets 1 and 2. Lee is 11 of 23 with 3 errors. Their efficiency sitting at as a team at 341. Bomgren and Fields have eclipsed 500 as a team.
Yeah. That disparity is going to have you in the lead a lot.
Hanging the hands high, Troy Fields.
And of course, just as we talk about Jake not seeing any serves, Timmy drops one in on him short. I like that because we kind of discussed that tactic earlier too. Dave Lee's seen every serve. Sneak one in on the other guy, see if you can catch him off guard, and Troy gets the big stuff.
It's got an additional, oh dear, that's worrisome. Collision underneath the net. Check and make sure everyone's doing okay. Maybe a little too much pike on that one.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's always going to be the fault of the attacker for the most part, because the blocker going straight up and down, and the attacker's the one kind of with that forward momentum.
Actually, it was more the knee to knee. I thought it was a landing of ankles, but somebody's going to have a new bruise mid-quad.
Yeah. Fortunately, it looks like kind of a no harm, no foul situation.
Been talking about blocking so much and who will establish themselves in this second set. So far, it's been Troy Field. He's earned 2 stuff blocks with an additional 4 control in this match. As we take a look now to court 1, Kleinman and Ross versus Simo and Van Winkle. 10-7, make it 11-7 now for Simo and Van Winkle. You might say they are sailing away with the first set.
Little Christopher Cross on a Saturday afternoon.
I have to admit, that came from Spence.
Yeah, yeah.
That's our director. He gets points too. He does like 80s rock and roll and cheesy one-liners.
Who doesn't, Cam, is my question for you.
Well, considering I was not born in the 80s, I'll go with 90s.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You were born in the 60s, so it's okay.
Correct.
I'm still not sure what decade Kevin Barnett was born in. He's like the ageless wonder over there.
It's him and Nosferatu, I think, were born in the same year. Dracula.
That's a great reference. Back set. And a solid swing back cross court. blockers love to become the setters in those situations.
Indeed, and Dave Lee letting the crowd know he's got the back set as part of the arsenal as well.
I can't tell you how many times in the indoor game my middles would stay after practice just to try and showcase, like, no guys, I can take the second contact. Let me do it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Speaking of second contacts.
Yeah. That's not one you're going to see a lot out of Timmy. He's got great hands typically. Troy pays it off by launching it into the DJ booth.
Talk about a high ball. That was a kick save, a la Casey Patterson.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Troy goes lefty feast, and Jake gets the left foot underneath it. Almost hangs in the net for Dave and Jake.
If you're wondering where we're at in the bracket, this is contenders bracket action. The winner of this will face off against the number 2 seed, Dahlhauser and Drost. Tim's there, airborne. Chicken wing to chicken wing.
Just got a little sticky on Troy's chest there, unfortunately. Great effort, both sides.
A little too much buffalo sauce on that one. Ranch or blue cheese?
I'm not a big wings guy, but I would go ranch there between those two, were I to choose.
I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to wings. I need it extra mild.
If they're boneless wings, I'm a little,
Okay.
I'm a little dainty. I don't like.
Dainty, more like lazy.
You're correct. Just trying to give myself some euphemistic credit there.
Match point for Tim and Troy. Looking to move on and face Dahlhauser and Drost.
Troy starting to slow clap for himself.
Hey, his partner is serving. Sets inside, and I like the hold there on the hands. That one was about as close as it comes on the contact.
Little deep on the dish. But I love the discretion from our up ref. That would be a terrible time to blow the whistle.
Agreed.
On a marginal set.
Match point remains number 2 for Tim and Troy. Wind at the back, Troy Field. Up and straight down the line. Tim and Troy, TNT, moving on into contenders.
I would have lost money, Cam. I think they kept Dave on 0 in the block column in that match. I would have 100% lost money if you would have asked me that pre-game.
I agree. That's a pretty wild number. We talked about it heading into the second set. Who was going to be the force at the net? And Troy Field, to his credit, walked away with, I believe, 2 stuff blocks, 4 control blocks. Somewhat dictated terms up there.
Yeah, and that was just in the second set. He was really good. Timmy and Troy were great in all aspects of the game, just consistent throughout, and that reflected on the scoreboard as well.
Take a look now to the contenders bracket. It's been updated 2 versus 8. Bomgren and Field will face Dahlhauser Drost, but we still have a lot to go as Dietrich and Tucker will face Hoppy and Shaw. That's a 13 versus 15. Berkey and Wilcox, the 16 seed, but in reality the 41 seed in this tournament, picked up a nice win in their previous match. Now will face a daunting task. Alison and Corey, the 6 seed. But what's coming up next? It's time for quarterfinal action. We head back to the winner's side of the bracket. Taylor Crabb, Taylor Sander, looking to move on to the semifinal. Cody Caldwell and Sean Cook stand in their way. We've got quarterfinals coming up next on the AVP.
Just under 11 minutes. Until the final round of the winners bracket gets underway, our next 4 matches